Hi, how's it going everyone? My name is B. This is a YouTube channel, Thoughts on Thoughts, and today we're going to be looking at quite a big thing. And I'm sure if you clicked on this, you know, because of the title, you're going to want some kind of, how do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of it? And of course, we're talking about anxiety. So anxiety comes in a lot of forms. We're talking about social anxiety, which is something I had to deal with in my past, and still to a certain extent, I guess, deal with it now. But there's all different types. So there's generalized anxiety. You can just feel anxious for no reason. You can feel anxious going in certain situations, maybe not just social, maybe if you've got to do a certain piece of work, or you're worried about something coming up. And anxiety basically it's a worry about what's going to happen. So when we talk about depression, it's more you're worried about what has happened. You're worried about the past, and you're kind of reliving that and rehashing that. Anxiety is really it's a gap. It's what you call sometimes an anxiety gap. So it's a gap between what's happening now and what you perceive could happen in the future. And usually, obviously, it's going to be a negative thing that's going to happen in the future. So what you do then is create an anxiety gap, because what happens is you try and change what's happening, what's going to happen now. And of course, I don't need to tell you this. It's impossible to do that. You can't change the future. It's impossible. But in your heads, because you're worried about a certain outcome, you try and literally change it in the present moment. And you don't realize you're doing this, because what you got to understand as well is that when you think about the future and what you think is going to happen, your body actually reacts as if you're in that moment then. So for example, if you are socially, you do get anxious in social situations, and then a lot of the time what you do is project into the future. So for example, you could be, maybe you've got a party to go to next week or something like that, and you're feeling a bit weird about it, you're feeling a bit anxious about it, maybe you don't know too many people that are going to be there. So what you do when you think about it, you actually put yourself in that position as far as your body's concerned, because your body doesn't know the difference between what's happening now and what you're imagining. So you're literally putting your body in the state that you think it's going to be anyway at the party. And it probably isn't even going to be as bad as you think it is. It's the worst case scenario that you can imagine, and you're bringing that into your present. So of course, what happens? You tense up. You try and physically change it. So you tense up. There's no way you can. So the only way your body can react to it is by physically tensing up and clenching your fists and all that kind of stuff. But also, what happens is you mentally try and change it. So you mentally try and work out the best ways you can work out what you're going to do, what you're going to say. You maybe break down every single conversation that you might have, people that you might meet. And of course, all this is 99% of it's not going to happen, if we're being honest. But you actually have made it happen as far as your body's concerned. And what this does is, it releases chemicals which are not good for your body anyway, and it puts you in a kind of fight or flight state, which of course is not good. And so it's like a constant thing. So by the time you get to the situation, you're so exhausted, it's so wound up that there's no way you can enjoy it. There's no way that you can relax. It's impossible. So all this thinking that you've been doing hasn't helped one bit. The other thing with anxiety as well is, and of course I'm going to go into some steps later on. I'm going to go through maybe 5 or 6 steps that can help you practically in what you can do. But what I'm going to say is just really what I'm going to do is break down the kind of the thinking behind it, because sometimes you don't even realize what you're thinking when you're anxious and when you're in anxious loops as well. So with anxious, it is a loop, because what it is you get a thought. So the thought is, okay, I'm going to this party, and then you get a feeling. So then the feeling is fed from the thought, and then it feeds into the thought again. So the thought is that you feel like you're at that party now, and you're anxious. You feel anxious, and then because you feel anxious, you think about how to deal with that anxiety. So then, because now you're thinking about how to deal with that anxiety, that's making you anxious. So then you're going around, and then you're literally just going around in a circle. And what you have to understand about anxiety is that it really is just it's an energy that you've built up, and it feeds on itself. So what you really need to do, and this is the whole crux of how to really get yourself out of an anxious state and how to stop feeling anxiety, is you really need to realize that these thoughts and these feelings are not you, right? They're separate from you. It's a separate thing. It's just a thing that's happening in your body, and your body's trying to rationalize it with thoughts, right? So these thoughts are not your actual thoughts, but they're just trying to make sense of the feeling that's going on in your body. These thoughts are not you. I can't stress that enough. I want you to really understand this. That you need to have a distance between you and these thoughts. You need to be able to see them for what they are and not feed into them yourself, right? So when you get a thought, when you get a feeling, you don't necessarily think it's this or that. You don't attach yourself to it. You don't think it's you. You don't identify with it. That's the key thing. You don't identify with it. You don't say, oh, that's how I am. I'm just someone that worries about that stuff. You don't say that. These are just things that are happening in your body that you can witness if you choose to. So the whole solution to anxiety, I can tell you what you need to do, but whether you can do it or not is another thing. So what you should do is do nothing at all. Do nothing at all. Literally, when you get anxious thought, when you get anxious feeling, let it happen, let it pass. Don't question it. Don't say why you're here. In fact, welcome it. Say, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Like, welcome it, enjoy it. Do you know what I'm saying? To a certain, obviously, I know it's hard to enjoy it, but just welcome it and realize that it can't actually do anything to you, but give you this kind of extra energy, extra kind of negative, I guess, energy. But it can't really do anything to you, so you have to accept it. The other option is fighting it, which, as you know, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've tried for however many years or however long. You know that that's impossible. You can't actually fight. You can't outthink it, because what happens when you're trying to outthink it, you're just adding more. You're adding more thoughts, and then you're adding more feelings, and then more thoughts, and then more feelings. So it's impossible. Don't try and outthink it. And you should know that. If you've got this far, you should know that anyway. So that's an impossibility. So the only other option, if all your thinking hasn't worked, is to literally not think and not do anything. Now, obviously, I know it's easier to say that than it is to do, but that is the solution, and it's what can make you believe that, and what can make you get to that point. And it's not easy to do it as well. It's gonna feel uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely gonna feel uncomfortable, but you have to fully accept it. You have to almost have a feeling of like, if this was there for the rest of my life, I wouldn't even care. Like, that's how you've got to do it. You can't. It is a part of you. You've got to see it as it is a part of you, and there's nothing you can do to get rid of it. So don't even try it. It sounds crazy, but that's the solution. That is really the solution. Yeah. So fighting it is futile. It's not going to do anything, and it actually perpetuates itself when you do try to fight it. So don't try and do that. Just let it be there. Because remember, in reality, it's not a tangible thing. It's just an idea. It's just a thought. It's just an energy. I like to think of it as an energy. And it's something maybe you have to release, something that will go eventually. It's the same as any thought. If you have a certain thought in your head, if you have a song that's playing around in your head, there's a certain energy attached to that that's letting that happen. And there's kind of powering that through your head. So when you've got an annoying song, you don't even like the song as well, you just, I know when the heart blinks, and then that song is just going around in your head. And if you actually try to get rid of it, you can't, because when you're trying to get rid of it, you're focusing more attention on it. So you're making it more real and you're making it more tangible in your head. So it's actually impossible to get rid of it like that, and that actually perpetuates it more the more you try and get rid of it. So with a song, normally you don't actually try and get rid of it, you just let it go. Sometimes you might enjoy it, but eventually you'll find in a day or so it passes, it just goes, and everything passes. That's another thing, another good saying just to have in your head when you get these thoughts: this too shall pass. So this, whatever you're thinking, whether it's a happy thought, whether it's a sad thought, whether it's whatever thought, it will pass. It will pass as long as you let it pass. But what we do is we get, when you're in an anxious state, you get a thought that you don't like. So, and it's usually something personal to you as well, that you identify with. So there'll be millions of thoughts going through, there's tons of thoughts going through your head all day. But then you'll get one thought. So the thought could be something like, I don't know, I'm a bad person or something like that. So you get that thought in your head. And now, because this is something that is, how do you define what a good or bad person is anyway? But it's something that maybe could be true, maybe it's not true, whatever. But because it could be true and it's something you're worried about, you choose almost to identify with it. Like, oh wait, so you're sitting there, what if I'm a bad person? Oh, what if I'm a bad person? Oh no, I mean, I did this to so and so last week. Maybe I am a bad person. Oh man, shit. And then you see how it catches you, and then you're stuck in it. But you've had 1,000 thoughts go through your head before, and you've let them pass, and they've gone. They've come and gone. But with this thought, you've now stuck on it, and now you've literally grabbed it out of your head, and you've attached yourself to it. You've identified yourself with it, and you know, because you're trying to fight it, and you're trying to prove that you're not a bad person by arguing with this thought that's come in your head, which is just, you haven't controlled the thought just come for whatever. And now you're fighting with it, and now it's, you know, this thought can now maybe last months, weeks, years, whatever. So it really, that's the form it takes. It's really your reaction to your thoughts. That's what it is, and that can build up an anxious energy. Another thing is like, don't be scared of it. Don't fear it. The fear is what drives it as well. So if you fear it, that makes it more. That builds up the energy, because now you've got the anxious energy, but now you've got the fear energy as well. So it's that all powers itself, and it's a horrible feeling, I know. But even when you get that, when you do get action, obviously, try and relax yourself. Try not to add the fear to it. If you do add the fear, accept that as well. Accept everything that's going on. Don't try and push anything out of your head. You can't get rid of anxiety in that way. You can't get rid of it. It comes and it goes. For everyone, it happens to everyone. Even people who wouldn't even class themselves as anxious, they do get anxious feelings, but they're able not to identify themselves with it and let it pass. And that's really what you need to try and build to if you do want to be able to let go of this anxiety. Alright, so now I'm going to take you through, I'm talking a bit abstractly, so I want to talk 5 or maybe 6 concrete ways that you can actually physically reduce your anxiety and let you maybe get into the best state where you can let it go. So first of all, we're going to talk about loosening the body. So what I noticed a lot when I try to watch myself, watch my actions when I'm anxious, is my body will get tight. Like I said, you almost try and change the situation physically. Do it unconsciously, but you try and change it physically, so you tense up. So this can include, what I notice is, clenching your fists. This happens a lot. So what you do is when you notice your fists are clenched, just let them go, relax, ease your fists, relax them. And also with your shoulders, it happens a lot, if you notice. So what you do, obviously, just breathe, relax your shoulders, relax your hands, whatever, relax any tightness in your body. You really want to try and get that out. And just try it with me now. I bet you would even feel more relaxed. So if you're watching this and you did notice that your fists were clenched, unclench them, let your shoulders drop a bit, and just let your body do what it's going to do. Don't try and control it, and that's part of it. See how it ties into the control of controlling your thoughts. Don't control your body. Your body does most of its stuff by itself anyway, so let it do this as well. Don't think that you have to, hold your muscles or whatever. But just notice it. What it's really about is watching what your body does, and getting rid of that tension that's there. And that's something that you can do physically. That's something you can do now. So it's just getting in the habit of doing this. So every time, not even when you're feeling anxious, just notice it. Anytime, if your body's all tensed up, just let it go, let it drop. And that's a habit that you need to get yourself into. The other thing that ties into that is breathing. So a lot of the time when you're anxious or when you're worried about stuff, your breathing is all over the place, and maybe a short breath or all kinds of stuff. So what you want to do ties in with letting your body go. So let your body go, and also just take a deep breath. Take a few deep breaths, and what this does is it just clears you out. It just makes you gets you into a more relaxed state, and it gives you an opportunity to relax your thoughts as well. So just focus on your breathing. So that's something you can do if maybe you're in a tight spot or whatever, or you're in the situation, maybe you're in a social situation, whatever. Just take a few steps. Even if someone thinks you're crazy, so what? They probably think you're crazy anyway, because you're breathing too fast or whatever. So just take a second, just relax, breathe. And even just doing this now, you probably feel a little bit more relaxed as well. And then again, third one that ties into that is meditation. So I can't stress this enough, and I'll probably put this in every video I do. Make sure you meditate. Definitely meditate. There's so many benefits, grey matter, and it makes you feel good, makes you feel more energized, separates you from your emotion, from negative emotions, I could say. It just gives you a better perspective. There's so much good stuff. I can't even bother getting into everything. I might probably make a separate video just about meditation. But meditation kind of combines what I just talked about. It's relaxing your body, breathing, and what it does is separates you from these anxious thoughts that you're having. So if you do it, if you know, you have a nice meditation, good meditation session for maybe like 20 minutes, half an hour, it actually clears your mind. But not only that, it lets all these thoughts out, and it lets you be the observer of these thoughts. So you can sit there and watch your thoughts go by, let them all out. It's almost like a regurgitation of your thoughts, but you can see them for what they are. So you're not thinking about them, you're not attaching yourself to them, but you're just seeing them pass by your head, and you're just more of a witness of them. So what this does, it will make you see how kind of absurd your thoughts are, how weird they are, and it separates you from them. So it disidentifies you with your thoughts. So your worries could be whatever they, you know, maybe you think you've done something bad, or you know, you can't stop worrying about some money that you found on the floor that could have been a homeless person's, or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of anxious thoughts you can have, but it lets you take a step back from that and realize that, oh wait a minute, these are just thoughts that build up from energy and worry and all this kind of stuff. So they're not actually me. These aren't me. What's me is behind these thoughts, and I can actually see them for what they are. So it gives you that perspective that the perspective is so important when dealing with anxiety. It's very, very important. So it gives you that perspective. So I would recommend looking into meditation, check videos on YouTube. Maybe I would have done one by now. But read up on it a little bit, and it's not complicated. You just sit there silently, focus on your breath, focus on letting your shoulders drop and all that. And yeah, just sitting there for like 20 minutes, half an hour. Just listen to the sounds around you, quiet space, whatever. But I can't recommend it enough. Whatever you're doing, whatever situation, even if you think you've got no anxiety, you've got no troubles, just make sure you do at least look into meditation, because I'll guarantee you have a big impact on your life. It will change a lot of things, and you'll be surprised. But it's something that you have to stick to and make that habit as well. Okay, and then again, the fourth thing tying into that, it literally accept every feeling. Don't try and fight anything that comes into your head in terms of anxiety, in terms of anything really. But accept every thought that comes into your head, and do not fight it. Do not fight it. That's something that you can practically do. Do not fight any thought that comes into your head. Okay, so more kind of physical stuff now. So the fifth one, do something that you enjoy and that will get you into the moment. So this could be anything. This could be sports. Try not to do something that's necessarily just going to distract you. So something like watching TV or playing video games, which is what a lot of people get caught up with in depression and anxiety, because it literally distracts you. So even though it sounds good, as in it takes you out of your head, it takes you out of the moment completely, right? So you're always going to have to come back, and it could even come back stronger after you've got lost in the film, and then the film ends and you're like, this feeling again. So it's just a distraction. It doesn't actually. What you want to do is be in the present moment, but with allowing these thoughts to pass, not blocking them out, which I think is what TV and computer games kind of do. So what we're talking about more is stuff that will get you in the moment and get you conscious and get you present. So maybe sports, something that you really enjoy. I enjoy football, so I might play football. I can get into the moment with that. But I don't know, whatever you like to do, rugby, basketball, tennis, table tennis, rock climbing, wherever you've got access to, innit? But something that you just enjoy, that you like doing. Spending time with friends as well, it's good. Talking to friends, not talking about anxiety, because obviously that's making it more real, but just having a chat with friends, having a laugh, that kind of thing, that you're comfortable with, not necessarily going into new situations or whatever, if that's what you're worried about specifically. But just someone you feel comfortable with, someone that you can talk that's not about that, and someone that can get you in the moment is always a good thing. Something you enjoy and that will get you in the moment. And then the last thing is exercise. So like I said, anxiety is really energy that builds up and it perpetuates itself, and you kind of perpetuate the fear and all that. So because it's an energy, you have to get rid of it somehow. So you can let it pass, it will pass eventually. But what I found helped me anyway is like if you do exercise and get active and things like that, which kind of ties into the last point, but specifically talking about physical, maybe gym, running, swimming, that kind of stuff. Just something to release the endorphins that kind of chemically will feed your brain anyway. And there's been a lot of chemicals probably pumped into your body because of fight or flee, or the thing where you run away or you fight or whatever. There's a lot of chemicals get pumped into your body there, adrenaline, that kind of stuff. So it's really good to do exercise and pump kind of positive, good chemicals in there, positive chemicals that make you feel good, that release the energy as well. And because you're releasing the energy, you can't, you've got a limited source of energy. So it's better that you use it on exercise and the activities and things like that, rather than using it on thoughts, and then you might kind of go around in circles in that way, because the energy needs to get used up, right? So that's it. So that's a good thing. And then general things that will help you as well. If you just sleep well, try and sleep well, eat well, just standard things. These will help anyway, regardless of your situation. So I mean, the summary basically is do nothing at all. Let the thoughts come, let them pass. They will pass. But really understand the kind of background and what you're feeding into, especially the thought and the feeling circle, which is what you're feeding into. So at some point you need to break, for it to stop, you really need to break one of these points in the circle. So either, try and stop the thoughts and just be in the moment. Of course, because I guess it's harder to stop the feelings. So really, it's the thoughts that you can kind of have some kind of control over. Well, not really in control, because you just got to let them happen. So, don't let the thoughts feed into the feelings, don't let the feelings feed into the thoughts. And yeah, so that's it for now. Hopefully this has helped you. If you have any other questions, please put them down. I'm still going through anxiety. I still have to deal with anxiety myself, and these are actual things that I use to help me do it. I know there's a lot of people that deal with it. Everyone deals with it to a certain extent. That's another thing with anxiety, is that it's quite a selfish thing. So you think yours is the worst. You think that you're the only one that suffers from it. No, everyone does to a certain extent, believe me. So good luck with all that. Let me know how it goes. Let me know if there's any other tips you have as well. Leave them below. But yeah, that's it for now. Thoughts on thoughts. Check it out there. See you later.